Hello, Harold.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are we doing today?
Good. I just came back from doing a whole bunch of errands. I'm a little tired.
Uh,
Let's see here, where are we? 27, is that correct? So, yeah.
I,
All right. It's 4:01.
401.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Johnny.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. We are on Chav Zayin, 27. The Brisa said that if we were dealing with placing blood somewhere on the Mizbeach, not necessarily where it's supposed to go, whether it's Mechaper or not. So Rava brought a Brisa, no, the Gemara brought a Brisa that if somebody had in mind to place blood that was supposed to go on the bottom on the top, or vice versa. So if he thought that about doing it in the normal time, which is right away, then it's okay. Because having in mind to put it on the mizbech, not necessarily in its correct place, is not something that's, but after that, during one of the other avodot, he had in mind to let's say the maktir in Tel Aviv as opposed to in Yerushalayim.
Somebody has to mute.
Abe, I think you have to mute Abe. Okay.
Or John. If he had in mind chutz l'mkomo, so posel vein bokoris. But if he had in mind chutz l'zmano, if he had in mind to do something tomorrow, then it's classic pigul v'chaynu l'koris if you ate a kazayis of the animal. Because having in mind to sprinkle above or below on the mizbeach allows atonement to occur. So that's why you get pigul, and that's why you get koris. On the other hand, if he had in mind to sprinkle, let's say, the blood that was supposed to go on top on the bottom tomorrow, so posel, that is not an appropriate machshava, and therefore, if in one of the other avodot, he had in mind either chutz l'zman or chutz l'mkomo, then posel vein bo kores, because in order to have pigul with kores, the other avodot have to be done perfectly. And here, the first avodah, the zrika, he had in mind not to do it correctly. And that's what the Gemara is going to ask now. Shalobim komo kim komo dog. The Gemara said that one mandomer was that even shalobim komo on the mizbech is considered the right place. Why should it only be hod posel? It should be pigulu, because it's like mim komo. So Amar Zutra explains zrika d'shaya basar b'achila ma'isol de pigul. It's got to be a zrika, not just that provides atonement, but also allows you to eat the meat. So we never said that if the blood was supposed to go above and you put it below, we said that it achieves atonement for the guy, but it doesn't allow you to eat the meat. Right? Zrika de lo shaya basar b'achila lo ma'isi l'dei pigul. Okay. And Shmuel only said that zrika sadam shalobim komo only gives you kapor, doesn't allow you to eat the meat. Where do you get this concept that it's a zrika that allows you to eat the meat that leads to day pigul? T'chsiv. V'yimei achol yachel mipsar zever shlamov b'yom hashlishi pigulu lo yiratzeh. So it's misha pigulo goram lo. It has to be only the machshavas chutz l'zmano which caused the problem for the korban. Then you get pigul for koris. Yotza zeh, but for example, if you had kavana to do the zrika shalobim komo, and then you had a chutz l'zmano machshava she'ein pigulo goram lo, it wasn't the pigul of the machshava of chutz l'zmano that led to the problem. Eler isu davar acher goram lo. It was the chutz l'mkomo machshava. and therefore we don't get chorus. Well, ihachi, if it's correct that chutz l'mkomo is considered kimkomo, if slunami lo lifsel, why should it apostle? Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak midav v'machshavas hinuach v'libed Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda held that if he had in mind to place the dam tomorrow anywhere, and not necessarily to put it on the mizbeach, that certainly apostles the korban. Now, in contradistinction to what Shmuel said that if you place the blood on the mizbeach, even if you place it shelo b'mkomo, the person would have kapara. But Reish Lakish amar le'olam pasul mamish. When we say pasul, it's not that just the meat can't be eaten, but it's also not mechaper. But v'shelo b'mkomo kimkomo dam. So he seems to be saying a stira, because immediately in the same breath he says, applying the blood shelo b'mkomo is like kimkomo. Lo kasha, kan shenosan b'shesika. If you were supposed to place the blood above and you place it below, it's mechaper if you were quiet, you didn't say anything. But kan shenosan b'mira. If you said, oh, and tomorrow I'm going to eat of this korban in Tel Aviv, so then it's not mechaper. Because Tanakh, our Mishnah, Chishev litin as niton lamata lamata, ad, until we had Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak saying that even though kimkomo, shelo b'mkomo is considered like b'mkomo, but if you had in mind to do that the next day, then it would be possible. Like we said, alibed Rabbi Yehuda, we're putting the blood anywhere other than the mizbeach tomorrow would possible as a machshavas hinuach. So far we have Shmuel, and so far we have Reish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan gives us a third opinion. Idi v'idi, both cases is nosan b'shesika. The Mishnah, when it says it possibles when you place it not in its proper place. Why? Because shelo b'mkomo is lav kimkomo dam. We don't say shelo b'mkomo is kimkomo. We say the opposite. Lo b'mkomo is you place it in the wrong place. That which we said, that a coin can go back and get more blood to do the zrika properly, that's hade ikadama nefesh. That's if there's blood there. But if there is no blood, then you have no resuscitation. Hade lekadama nefesh. And therefore, Tanan, our Mishnah, is pasul vein bokaris. That if you have a machshava to place the blood not on the top but below, it passes, but there's no kares. So Bishmal Reish Lakish, he said that the initial machshava was shelo bizmana, and therefore it's according to Rabbi Yehuda with hinuach, it's pasul. Hanaditani pasul vein b'kares. Even though normally chutz l'zmano gives you pigul. El Rabbi Yochanan, we didn't say anything. It's b'shesika, mayan b'kares. That the whole problem of the chutz l'zman had nothing to do with why the korban is pasul. The kasha. Now, ula Shmuel, my ein b'kares. So hachi kamer in nosan b'machshava, if he had in mind an improper machshava, pasul vein b'kares. But l'Rav Yochanan, if you're going to tell me ishalo b'mkomo, lav kim b'mkomo dami, if doing this zrika not in its proper place is not like doing it in its proper place, let it be lehevi, let it be no worse than ki nishpach b'nakli ala ritzpa. Let it be like you collected the blood in a kli and you dropped it. What did we say? Yasvenu. Just gather it up and you can do the zrika properly. So, Savar Lakamanda Omar Lo Yasvenu. He holds like the Tana that says you can't gather it up again. That everybody agrees, blood that was supposed to on top that you gave on the bottom. Or blood lamata shnosan lamala, lamata. Or let's say even blood that was supposed to go on the bottom that went on the bottom. But shalokim mitzvasim, but you did it either with your left hand or with an improper machshava. The din is lo yasfenu. You can't gather up the blood. Lo nechliku el b'niton l'mala shnos l'mata. Blood that was supposed to go on top that went on the bottom of l'mata shnos l'mala. Rabbi Yosef Omer lo yasfenu. Rabbi Shimon Omer yasfenu. There already there's a machlokas whether you should gather it up. U'mishnasenu k'divrei Omer lo yasfenu, which is why it's possible. Everybody agrees, blood that was supposed to go below the line that went above the line, shelo yasfenu. Blood doesn't flow. This is blood that was supposed to go on the bottom. He put it on the top. It hit the mizbeach. And since it was a zrika psula, the whole thing's invalid. Now, blood that was supposed to be placed above, that was placed on the bottom, that's not so much of a problem. Now, when you put blood on the top, gravity brings it down, so it's going to go to the bottom anyways. So that everybody holds is not a problem. The problem is, you have a korban that the blood was supposed to be put in the Kodesh Kodoshim, or on the Paroiches, or on the Mizbech Hazav inside the Heichal. It's Benitonim Lifnin Shenasna Bachutz, you put it on the outside, or vice versa. Blood that was to go Bachutz Shenasna Lifnin. Shrav Yosef Omer Yasfenu, there you could gather the blood as if it spilled on the floor, and do it again. Reb Shimon Omer Lo Yasfenu. It's a zrika psula, and you don't have a way to get back. I also hold like Rav Yochanan that blood that's applied shalom b'mkomo, there's no kapara. Rav Yehuda Omer, this is in the cases of certain korbanos that became puzzle, and anyways that were put on the mizbeach. The din is you leave them there and you let them get burnt. It depends. The pasuk says, "Zois Torah sa'ola hiya oila." Hare elu miutim. There's 3 miuts. Prat l'nishkota balayla. If you shechted the korban at night, or you received the blood v'nishpach dam and you spilled the blood, or yotza dama chutz l'klein. Each one of them, in those cases, im also teirei. If you put them on the mizbeach, you got to take them off. Rab Shimon Oimar, no. It says oila. That if it went on the mizbeach, you don't take it off no matter what. I might think only oila kshera, maybe only a kosher olam. Inayin le'rabois nishchata balayla, even if we're shechted at night, or nishpach dama, the blood was spilled on the floor, or yotza dama chutz l'kloin, the blood was taken outside the Azor, or halon, the psar of the korban was left overnight, or vayotze, was taken out of the Azor, the basar, or vatome, the meat became tome, or v'nishchat chutz l'zman v'chutz l'mkomo, or when the animal was shechted, that the kohen had a machshava to do one of the avodot, either chutz l'zman or chutz l'mkomo, or kiblu psulim, a non-kohen did the kabbalah, the zarkos dama, and through the blood, or the karbonos v'anitoni l'malash and nistani l'mata, blood that was supposed to be placed above that was placed below, or anitoni l'mata shenistan l'mala, blood that was supposed to place below that was placed above, or anitoni b'fnim, blood that was supposed to be placed inside the heichal shenastan b'chutz, or v'anitoni b'chutz shenastan b'fnim, vice versa. Or Pesach Chachatas Sheshachton Shalol Lishman, you shechted a korban Pesach or Chatas without the right kavana. In all these cases, Minayin. How do I know that if they went up anyways? You weren't supposed to put them up on the Mizbeach, but you did it. How do you know that you shouldn't take them down? Talmud Lamar Torah Sa'oila. Riba Torah Achas Achala Oilin. Anything that goes up stays. Shimalu lo yardu. Now, is it every psul? Yachol shanimar be'af haroiveya. Let's say the animal had relations with a woman. Or vanirba, a man had relations with the animal. Or va'muktzah, the animal was designated as an avodah zarah. Or nevat, it was worshipped. Or v'ha'etna, you gave a zona in payment for her services, this animal. Or a mechir, or you traded it for a dog. Or kloyin, the animal was a hybrid. Or the animal was a treifa. Or the animal was yotzei doifin, it was born by C-section. If these korbanos go up on the mizbech, you got to take them down. Why? Talmud Lamar Zois, which is a miyud. Freit the Gemara logically, Mari Isla Rabbi Siselu Hotz Siselu. What is the sticking point about these that are excluded and the others that are included? Mar Bani Aselu, right? The Nishchata Balayla and Tomei, because Shahaya Psulim B'Kodesh. They were kosher korbanos, but they became puzzle in the Beis Hamikdash. Motzi Ani Aselu, the Roiveya, the Nirba, the Nevat, these were all not kosher from the get-go. You couldn't designate them to be kosher. They were not psulim that occurred in the Beis Hamikdash. Shloya psulim b'kodesh. Ketani Mia comes out from what we just quoted. We said on Itonin Lamata, Shenosan Lamala, or Lamala Shenosan Lamata, that if you put them on the Mizbech, you don't take them down. V'loy Polig Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda doesn't argue, even though he says, according to him, right, of Hinuach, that if blood spilled, you got to take it down. My time, lav mishum the kalte mizbeach, because he holds that once blood hit the mizbeach, you had kapara. Shma mino lo yasvenu. That it's a zrika psula. Then there's no point to regather it. And so therefore, they hold like Rabbi Yochanan that lo yasvenu. Okay. So we talked about all these psulei hamukdashim that if they went up on the mizbech, you don't have to take them down. Rabbi Eliezer, mizbech hapnimi, the mizbech hazav inside the heichal, where you normally was maktir the ktoiris every day, and on Yom Kippur you place blood on the corners, right? Mizbech hapnimi mekadesh psulin. There also, if there were certain psulim that were placed there, you don't take them down. Well, my kamashmalan, what's the chiddush? Tanina. Hanitanin bifnim, blood that was placed on the inside that was placed on the outside, or vice versa. So it looks like the Mizbech HaPnimi will accept that which is normally placed on the outside. So the Gemara says, no, I needed to learn it from here as well. If I only had that case, even also Mavamina Anamili Dam that had to be placed on the outside, the Chazile, normally blood is roy to be placed on the Mizbech HaPnimi, like on Yom Kippur. Aval koimates, but for example, a mincha, which is never placed on the Mizbech Hazav, the lo Chazile, maybe Emalo, maybe a kmitza of a mincha will not be miskadish by the Mizbech Hazav, and you'd have to take it down. Kamash Malon, that even a mincha, if it was one of these types of psulin, like became tomei or taken outside, that if it was placed on the Mizbech, you wouldn't take it down. Meisvei. K'torah Zora. You made the K'torah, but you made it with the wrong ingredients. And you're not allowed to be maktir it. There, Sha'ala Lagabi Mizbech Teirid. There it can be removed. So it's only the outside Mizbeach that can be Makadesh Psulim. If it's Roy for it. Chitzon in, so that shows us only the Mizbech HaChitzon has the right to be Mekadesh Pnimi Lo. So Gemara says, no, Tritzachi, K'toris Zor also Mizbech HaChitzon Teri. The K'toris is not placed on the Mizbech HaChitzon. It's not the normal place for it. Therefore, an improper K'toris that was placed on the outside Mizbech, you've got to take it down. Shein Mizbech HaChitzon Mekadesh Psulin El Aroylo. It's only Mekadesh, these bad Psulin things, if it's normally placed on that Mizbeach. The Pnimi, the Mizbech Azov in the Eichel, is Mekadesh everything, Ben Roilo, Ben Shein Roilo. My Taima, High Ritzpah. The Mizbech HaChitzon is like an extension of the floor. And V'hai is a Klisharis. So the Kedusha of the Mizbech Hazov inside has a different Kedusha. It's Nimshach with the Mishkan, and therefore it will be Makadesh Psulim, even things that are not royal. Mishnah. Now, this is an important Mishnah. Let's speak about it outside for a minute. During any of the primary avodot, shchita, halacha, kabbalah, zrika, if you have in mind at the time that you do that act that I'm going to do zrika, or I'm going to, it's got to be achila of either mizbech or the person. So I'm going to eat of the mizbech, or the mizbech is going to eat tomorrow. So chutz lizmano, because every korban only has a 24-hour period. But so if you're going to do it tomorrow, that creates pigul, and therefore if you eat a kazayis of that animal, you get kares. If you have in mind to do the zrika or whatever the mizbech is going to eat in Tel Aviv, which is chutz limkomo, so it creates a psul, but ve'ein bo kares. And the Mishnah is going to tell us this. Hashoichet es hazevach. If someone, when he's shechting the korban, he has in mind lizrok domo bachutz, he has in mind to throw, to do the zrika outside the Beis Hamikdash, or mixas domo bachutz, or some of the blood, or lahaktir emur of bachutz, or to burn the emurim on an outside mizbeach, or mixas emur of bachutz, or lechol besaro, to eat of its meat bachutz, or even a kazayis mipsor bachutz, or lechol kazayis me orha alya bachutz, or to eat a kazayis even from the tail of the sheep. In all these cases, since it's not chutz l'zmano, it's only chutz l'mkomo, posel ve'en bo kares. However, if during the zrika, during the shchita, he had in mind lizrok dama l'machar, he's going to do the zrika tomorrow, or mixas dama l'machar, or lahaktir emur l'machar, or mixas emur l'machar, some of the emurim, or all of the emurim, or lechol b'sar l'machar, kazayis b'sar l'machar, to eat of the meat tomorrow, or lechol kazayis me'ora alya l'machar, pigul v'chayav el kares. Whoever eats a kazayis of this animal, now that it's been declared pigul, you get kares. Okay, stop here. So, Mario is back or not back?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. What time is mincha tomorrow?
5:55.
Okay, let's learn at 5:15 again.
Okay. Very good.
Okay?
Very good.
Okay.
Johnny's house?
Yeah. Let's do it at Johnny's house. Johnny's that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good.
5:15.
And Abe will learn again Sunday night. Probably 7, and then Daniel will be 8.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Shabbos.
Good
Bye.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.